title at the European Championships.
Athletics. Coming up in this episode, we meet one of Britain's best Paralympians. It's time for the world's biggest marathon. But first, we travel to Spain to meet a national record holder.
35-year-old high jumper Ruth Beitia was supposed to retire 2 years ago, but with an international career spanning 24 years and a love for competition, she instead spent last year winning a bronze at the World Championships. And this year she became only the second female high jumper in 52 years to retain her title at the European Championships. Beitia is a star in her native Spain. She first gained notoriety in 1998 when she broke the Spanish record jumping 1 meter 89. She then improved on her own record several times before finally jumping 2 meters 02 in 2007, which stands as the Spanish record to this day. She's also the first and so far the only Spanish woman to even break the 2 meter barrier.
Bueno, la primera vez que salté 2 metros, yo creo que fue increíble. Además, me acuerdo que mi madre tuvo la oportunidad.
The first time I jumped 2 meters high was wonderful. I remember my mother had the opportunity to be there to watch me. I thought I had jumped 199 because I had already gotten to 198. I wanted just to overcome my target, and suddenly I looked up to my mother and she told me I had jumped 2 meters. In that moment, I realized I had broken a barrier and then I'd become a great high jumper. I didn't have the opportunity to become the first Spanish high jumper to jump over 190 because Marta Mendia got there before me, but I did become the first to jump 2 meters. It was wonderful.
Ser la primera saltadora que pase 2 metros, pues en ese momento fue muy especial para mí.
Beitia's record has stood for 7 years. Today, this high jump veteran is hopeful that a new generation of jumpers will take over and that a younger athlete will be aiming for a name next to Beitia's in the history books.
Well,
I wish there would be another jumper able to jump over 2 meters, but I also think it's good that there are records to aim for, records awaiting to be broken. Nowadays in Spain, unfortunately, there isn't anyone who can do it. Athletes today can't even jump 190. I know that there's a great base of athletes, though, and at some point someone will show up and I will lose my record, which I will respect. That person will become a great jumper, but that athlete is not around yet. My records are still there to be broken, and I would be glad if someone would manage to do it.
Ruth will tell us about what it was like to befriend her childhood hero later on in the show. But right now, it's time to hit the streets of New York.
Welcome to New York and the 44th edition of the biggest marathon in the world. Held annually since 1970 and with over 50,000 finishers each year, the New York Marathon attracts world-class athletes from every corner of the globe. Despite the strong winds and cold temperatures, this year was no exception. In the men's elite field, most spectators' eyes were set firmly on Kenya's Wilson Kipsang, the man who won this year's edition of the London Marathon in a record time of 2:04:27.